Texas Math Mundo audience, are we in store for a real treat today? We have the Texas UIL State Champion year 2018 in Calculator Applications Conference 6A, Robert Gomez in the house. Robert Gomez is a proud PSJA North Raider down in the valley. Let me take a moment and remind you that if you enjoy this sort of content, please hit the subscription button and the notification bell, smash that like button, and leave a comment below. We have Robert Gomez, the 2018 State Class 6A Champion in Calculator Applications, right ahead. My name is Saul Cantu, and this is Texas Math Mundo. Texas Math Mundo audience, we're in store for a real treat today. We have the 2018 Texas UIL State Champion Conference 6A in Calculator Applications. We have Mr. Robert Gomez in the house. Welcome, Robert.
Hi, glad to be here.
Awesome, we're so happy to have you here. I can't wait to pick your brain, buddy.
All right.
So let's start off by asking, how you doing, man? What have you been up to during these pandemic times?
Pretty much business as usual, except plus social distancing and getting vaccinated and everything. Just right now, literally just yesterday, we moved into a new apartment just to be closer to the university. And so it's been pretty hectic. So everything is bare behind me.
Oh, yeah. I know how it is to be young and going from place to place and setting up a new place. That's the way it is. Wow. Yeah. So I was going to ask, so I know you're going to university. I'm going to ask you about that in a second. But what do you do to have fun, man? What are your hobbies and interests?
Pretty generic. Like, I like to play video games. I don't want to sound too scholarly, but I do enjoy picking up like new things. I get random surges of motivation to pick up a book about something interesting, or most of the time it takes a backseat. I watch Jeopardy. I'm a big fan of Jeopardy. And that's about it. I mean, we like to watch some movies every once in a while, but yeah.
Awesome. That sounds like a lot of fun. You should try out for Jeopardy, given a chance.
Oh, it's my dream, but long way from there.
Hey, boy, that sounds like a fun, and why not, right? Why not? That's awesome. And video gaming, what kind of video games? Any particular one?
Right now I play this shooter called Overwatch, but I don't play it that much. I don't play many others.
Okay, cool. So, Robert, I'm going to ask you, where are you from? Born and raised, and what's your cultural heritage?
Well, I was actually born in Mexico. I was born in Reynosa, and I moved here with my family pretty early on, probably when I was like 3 or 4. And so I've grown up my whole life in Pharr, really. That's where I've been from. Culturally, well, of course I'm Mexican, but I do wish I could be in touch more with that side of my personality a bit more.
Oh, I got you. Pharr, man,
Yeah, Pharr.
My grandma lived in Pharr for many, many years on East Sanchez, man. So, wow. Um, so, when did you realize that you had a talent for mathematics?
Uh, Maybe not mathematics in particular, but in fifth grade, well, I was in a little school called Napper, so it wasn't the most well-funded of schools, and it didn't have the brightest of students. But I can't complain. It was fun, and I'm not trying to make it sound bad, but point is, in fifth grade, I had a teacher, and he could tell that I was doing really well in the subjects for the standardized testing. And so when he would review for that, he would kind of just let me do my own thing in the back. And so one day I had my head down, and this kid complained, and he asked why does he get to have his head down? And the professor said, well, not professor, it's like a fifth grade teacher. He said, that little boy right there, if he took the exam tomorrow, he would pass, and you won't. So you have to pay attention. And that felt good to like fifth grade me, but it kind of felt like he put down the kid. But yeah, that did change my my own perception. I knew that I was, the tests were never a problem, but it did feel like validation, like other people saw it. But as for mathematics, I didn't feel that I was good at them particularly until my sophomore year, when I was taking pre-cal, and I realized I was helping out like the whole left side of the room whenever they needed help, and then that was probably when I realized that I was pretty good.
Oh, really? So, so you got an inkling of it in Nepper Elementary School, Elementary School, and they just got confirmed, and all the way into high school, and you were in pre-cal class.
Yeah, but I got to stress that it was not there in the middle school years. When I took algebra 7th grade, it was really stressful. I wanted to get out of it, because I even cried one time because I didn't understand it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So what was your introduction to competitive mathematics? How did you get into competitive mathematics?
Oh, funnily enough, in 5th grade, out of my own volition, I heard about UIL because there was these kids really good at math, and I was like, that sounds fun. So I showed up after school, still at Napper, and I walked in, and it was intimidating. The instructor was ex military, so he was like a drill sergeant in there, and it was very intimidating. They were doing stuff I hadn't heard of. And so I walked out there thinking, man, that is not for me. But, left it alone. Never heard of anything UIL all the way up until my junior year in high school. I was pretty good. I was taking calculus, and I was really competitive with a friend of mine in that class. And from there, a mentor figure of us, he asked me if I wanted to stay and try to check it out. And I fell in love with it.
Okay, well, who was that mentor figure?
Well, he was like a year older than us, and he, just because of the way the calculus teacher taught us, she would make students that had just taken calculus the previous year, she would make them very involved in teaching us. So he was my mentor in that class.
I got you. So I was going to ask. I hope people come across this video and they're very inspired by you. 2018 Calculator State Champion, 6A. What an incredible accomplishment. So, who inspired you and shaped your value system?
Well, I wasn't particularly inspired at the beginning. I just I stayed around for the fun, the community. It was like a tightly knit group of friends at that time. And then it was only up until we started getting good that it was really inspiring and motivating to compete for the sake of winning. Before that, it was just kind of like an after-school club. But I got to say, my junior year in high school, all my professors, all my teachers during that year, they all helped shape my values. Because coming from my family, my mom, she was struggling with her own things, so she wasn't too demanding of me and my grades, and also she doesn't understand the school system and all that stuff. Being an older Hispanic, she can't speak English. So I kind of had to navigate the school system on my own, and that impacted me in my grades because I had free range to not fail classes, but I wouldn't come home with an 89 and get talking to or whatever. So I was always just doing whatever I felt like I always did however I felt like doing in classes. So I wasn't a star student. I got lots of B's.
Pressure. You didn't have pressure to perform.
I had no pressure whatsoever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So before my junior year, I had the standard classes, and then in junior year is when they started placing me in the advanced classes, and so that's when I started being instructed by teachers that cared a bit more, and their classes were more difficult. So that's when I took calculus and physics, and then those courses, since they required a lot more attention for me to even pass them, and the professors were very passionate. That's when I like to call that like my academic awakening, because that's when I started getting A's, and that's from there on I just did better in school.
Oh wow. Okay, cool. Wow, so you had a big gap from 5th all the way to 11th grade, and then you were challenged in your pre-cal classes and your physics with some very passionate professors.
Yes, exactly.
Wow. Do you want to do a shout out to a couple of those professors?
Oh, of course. So first and foremost, I want to thank Mrs. Ziegler. She is the department head at PSJA North for mathematics. Very influential in my life. She introduced me to the coach. Of course, I want to thank my coach and dear friend, Mr. Santos. He's not at PSJA North anymore, but he's still out there reaching the lives of other students. My physics professor as well. His name is Mr. Garza. He's still at PSJA North. That's it.
Good.
They
so
really helped me.
Passionate, inspirational teachers that really lit a fire in you. That's awesome. That's awesome, Robert. That's awesome. So you are a proud PSJA North Raider.
Yeah.
All right. So
one could say.
Really?
Yeah, one could say.
Good. I want to talk about UIL, the 2018 season, and PSJA North High School. So what is PSJA North High School like? What do you remember about that year, 2018 in particular?
I love that year. It was my senior year. It was also my second year doing UIL, and well, that year was great. I had lots of I think people call it senior swag, where you just felt you were on top of the world and you could do whatever you wanted and all that stuff. Yeah, it was really great. In the UIL aspect of it, I was there with my best friend, and so it was really just a fun time there. After school, I mean, we were never a big program. That's the thing too. We just practice in the calculus room, but it was like 4 of us max at a time. Yeah.
So wow, but y'all were small, but you had a small dedicated group.
Yes,
wow.
That's exactly.
So you had, I remember you had Ziegler, Garza, and Santos, right? The teachers that inspired you.
Yes.
Make a shout out to your teammates for me.
Oh, okay, sure. So I mentioned I was there with my best friend my senior year. His name is Rosendo Narvaez. I really want to thank him personally because he would give me a ride home after every day after UIL practice, and sometimes we would get out pretty late and we're tired and brain is fried. And I really appreciate him because if it weren't for him, it was kind of hard to get my mom to pick me up, and school buses were gone by then. So he was really like, what's the word? Like a catalyst. Like if it weren't for him, I wouldn't have been able to stay to practice. So he really helped me out. Yes, yeah. So he's my best friend too. It was great fun with him there. We also had the previous year, the guy that recruited me, and I think my friend Ross too. His name was Brandon Salinas. Also, my other best friend, along with Rosendo, we're still very close right now. His name is Angel. He was also a year ahead of us, but he was part of the team my first year there. Yeah.
Awesome. Looked like you all really enjoy each other's company. Well, you had a good time learning some math. That's a beautiful thing. Such a beautiful thing. You know, I was talking to, I interviewed Oscar Santos because he's a 9-time state champion. And you could tell that he remembered the PSJA North team with such happiness. When he talked about you and the chemistry that y'all had and the good times and how he talked about you all with a lot of joy in his heart. You know? Awesome. So
yeah. Oh, I was gonna say, we were like his third year, So by the time I was a senior, that was his third year being the coach. But he's really fond of. From when I was there, he was fond of all the years so far. But he was really fond of being the underdog, and he has this great underdog story of his first year. He tells it in the interview.
Awesome. So, did y'all go to many tournaments?
We had the weekly invitationals, so that we went to those every week or whenever they had them. So it was pretty funny. To someone that's not involved in UIL and the invitationals, it's a pretty absurd idea to be waking up at 6 a.m. to be at school on a Saturday morning. You know,
do math.
Yeah, to do math, sit in the room for half an hour. Yeah.
Awesome. So, what were your study habits? What was your practice regimen in those days?
Yeah, so like I said, it was only like 1 year before my championship that I became a good student or an acceptable student by any chance. I still am a awful procrastinator. But yeah, it really affected me back then because I would get lots of B's, and I think it's part of, like, you can't compete in UIL if you fail a class. And one time we really, ticked off Mr. Santos because I think I wasn't doing well in one of my classes. This was my senior year, and I was taking, it's probably statistics with Miss Siegler, the same calculus teacher. She was also a sponsor for the UIL, so she was always there. She was and so one day after school, I walked in and I told Santos, "Hey, I don't think I can compete in the upcoming tournaments." And he was like, "What's going on?" And I said, "Oh, I'm failing statistics with Ziegler currently," and he got so mad. But it got fixed. It was just I hadn't turned in an assignment. It was like a week late, but
so
everything was well.
That's like a father figure. He's watching out for you, making sure you're on your grades.
Yeah, positive. Role model.
Yeah, I know how it is, man. I've had that happen as a coach too, so I know how it is, man. Calculator state champion. So naturally, I want to know, which calculators did you use?
Yeah, we had the tradition passed on to us of loving the HP 35. That's the one we had. But the predecessor, the HP 32, I think that's the one Santos used during his time. And when I first started practicing, like the first week I came, we didn't have any of the 35s. So he lent me the one he used to win. It was an old 32, and I got used to that one. And I used that one all the way up till when we reached state, I think, I want to say my junior year. And then at that point, he snatched it from me. He said, "Oh, this one might die at any moment." So he upgraded me to a 35, but it just felt really nice to have a 32. And still prefer it.
Those are sturdy, but they're not in production. So, good luck finding one.
Mm-hmm. That's a bona fide relic at this point.
It really is. But there's a whole group of people out there that love that 32. But that 35 is a good calculator, though.
Yeah, they're good too. That's the one I used to win.
Awesome. So, What is your most memorable moment or moments from that year?
Most memorable moment. I'm gonna say probably when we won, because I hope I don't get anyone in trouble here, but we were in the faculty room at State, where they announced this was before the official ceremony where they announced everything, and I want to say we were the only students in there, because the doors were open and stuff, and no one batted an eye. But I want to say we were the only team in there, because we were only 4, so we could fit in there easily. But all the other schools we were competing against, we didn't see anyone there. And we were sitting there, and we were cracking jokes with Robert Vela, math professor, or the math instructor, the coach. It was just having a good time in there, and then they started announcing them, and they announced them, with proxies. So everyone has a code name, or not a code name, but they have numbers, and they're number 317 scored this score and this score. And Santos we have from 300 to 304, that's this school. And so we had that, and so we had them all written down. So we were writing them down. We just didn't know who was who. And so we were writing them down, and I think we knew which ones were ours. So he had our names written down, and then they were counting them down from 10th place all the way up, right? Or the lowest score up. Yes. And when we started getting to 5th, and they were high, dude. Even 5th and 4th place were 280s. Those really high. When we started getting to that point, I was starting to get really worried, because I was these are high, and I never came up. I don't know. I was starting to freak out that maybe mine already passed. I was in super confidence, and then he goes number 2, and it's still not my freaking number, and I was just freaking out. And sure enough, number 1, it was me, and it was a really nice moment, because no one around us was celebrating, but of course we were high-fiving in there.
Yes, of course. I can only imagine how great that must have felt. It's just the countdown. And where's your name? Where's your name? Where's your name? What an awesome moment. What an awesome moment. I can only imagine how great that moment was, man. So awesome. So, 6A, the highest classification. You're the state champion, man. I can't even tell you how impressed that is when you consider all the students in the state of Texas. How special that is. You probably realize how special that is. How does it feel to be a state champion, man?
I guess I'm trying to think of a good analogy, but it's just really fulfilling to see your hard work, have come to fruition with such a title. And you keep mentioning the 6A, but when the district results came out, there was a website where you could see I guess the UIL website. But so I went there and I checked all the classifications. Checked all of them, 5A, 4A, all. Yeah. Well, not 3 and down, because they don't score too high. But I checked 5 and 4A, and because for me, it wasn't enough to just be a champion of 6A. If there was someone doing better than me in 5A, so I would keep tabs on them to really feel that sense of fulfillment.
So tell me, was yours the top score in the state, period?
I think for district, I think it was, and then it was for state, but not for regionals. I did not do well in regionals.
I'm glad you bring that up. I'm glad you bring it up, because the point is that your score was the highest score, period. I don't have to say 6A. It's just the highest score in the state of Texas, period. Because you take the same test. You take the same test as all the other classifications. That's a good distinction, man. You're truly number 1. You were truly number 1 that year.
So awesome. Very competitive.
Awesome. I think that's awesome. So when competition drives us to excel, we all win. You know what I'm saying? You happen to stand on the mountaintop. That's awesome. You got to the top. But even if you hadn't, think about all that beautiful mathematics you learned. Think of how you prepared yourself for the future. But having said that, you got to stand on the mountaintop, man.
Definitely an experience.
Yes. So where do you keep that gold medal?
Oh, well, the medals are probably locked away like in a box or something in my old room in my mom's house. That's who they are. They're still in their little pouches. I don't take them out as often because they're pretty big, and the gold is it's very attention calling, you know, and I don't want to have it and be obnoxious in my bedroom or my old bedroom for if anyone ever walks in. But I do have one trophy. Well, I haven't moved it in here, but there's just one trophy that I do carry around, and it's not even from state or anything. It's just an invitational. Like I said, we love an underdog story, so it was my first place trophy. I got in invitationals. It was everyone against their own grade level, so it was my first. It wasn't my first place in senior. It was my first place trophy where I beat everyone, including the juniors, because the Robert Vela juniors were very good. So that trophy, that one I do keep around just like as a little, what's the word? Memento, as like a little souvenir, right? But the medals I don't. Those are hidden away.
So that trophy means something to you. It represents the underdog coming and winning.
It represents the point where I was no longer the underdog, I guess. That's when I started, you know, being on top.
That's awesome. So that trophy, man, that's the tipping point right there. The tipping point.
Yeah, the tipping point.
Awesome. So awesome. You know, one day when you get a professional office or wherever, you need to prominently display that state gold medal. You know, that's bragging rights for the rest of your life, Robert, and you earned it. That's bragging rights for the rest of your life, man.
It serves as an inspiration and like a role model for my younger siblings. I have this 10-year-old brother, and you know, hopefully he seems really bright. Hopefully, try to inspire him with that. But yeah.
I love that you said that. You're the model. You're the role model, man. Exactly, man. Those are tough, big shoes to fill for him, and it's hard to follow a state champion, man. It's hard to follow. Awesome, Robert. So awesome. So where do you go to college? What are you studying?
So I mentioned earlier, I moved into an apartment, and it's right across the street from UTRGV. I already graduated. I graduated this last spring. I graduated last May. I got my bachelor's in computer science, and I'm coming back. I'm going to start next week. Well, I started earlier. I did the summer classes, but I'm going to start next week as a graduate research assistant. And I'm going to be doing some research along with some faculty. Hopefully, or not hopefully, we're going to be doing some publications. It's part of a scholarship. It's the Presidential Research Fellowship, I think. And they're going to be paying me, so I'm going to be an assistant with the whole payroll, and they're covering my tuition and everything. So it's a really great opportunity. It's my master's for computer science again.
Awesome. That's awesome. You know what I'm saying? That's great. So you already have your degree in computer science, and now you're going for a graduate level degree, and as a TA, and they'll pay you for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So what? Your computer science. So what language do you feel proficient in?
Oh man, my first language that he taught us there at the university was probably C++. Even though I learned Python on my own time before I graduated high school, but there'll be times where I'll have like 2-3 classes in a row that use C++, and then 2-3 classes that do Python, and it's just, I have to like relearn everything again. But it's all there in the back of the mind. You just gotta relearn it really quick.
Wow,
but,
wow.
This is my top 2.
Good stuff, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, Robert, do you feel that your UIL experience helped you, in your college career and your path?
Yeah, 100%. It really, sparked the flame of just for like a passion for learning. But more than that, it really helped me learn an analytical way of thinking, especially problems that are unknown. Like the word problems, those were really hard at first because I didn't know what I was doing. I came at each one with just no strategy, but then with coaching and some tips and pointers and with experience, you could look at one and dissect it, like a surgeon, and just know exactly what to look at. But also, not only that, it really teaches you like a different way of thinking of math. And yeah. I'm a big advocate for trying to demystify mathematics. So I've done a lot of unofficial tutoring. I help out all my friends whenever I can. And the one thing I try to have them take away from when I help them is that mathematics isn't some cryptic language or anything. It's just a way to formally write out your thoughts. But yes, the UIL really helped me when I took chemistry. My whole first week, they were just teaching us numerical methods or something like that, and it was just all stuff I already knew from the problems.
Awesome, Robert. Awesome, that's great. So you're not far from PSJA. Do you ever make it back on campus? Have you ever visited? Do you think you'll stay connected, or somehow, like maybe as a mentor or something with UIL?
Yeah, I would like to whenever I have more time, but I've visited before, especially before the whole pandemic. I haven't gone to visit since because I don't want to put anyone at risk. Though I do take my own precautions. I always wear a mask and everything.
Yeah,
I just don't want to take any unnecessary risks.
Understood.
But yeah, I visit whenever I can. Miss Ziegler has this program where they do trick or treating. They set up like the parking lot, and the kids, high school volunteers, they give out candy from the trunk of their cars.
Oh.
And it's always like a big, not mess, but there's a lot of hands on deck. So
okay.
When that happens, I like to go and help her out. There's lots of candies to move and lots of things to organize. Yeah. I promised her, because she said, I remember when I was a senior, she said something like, because I said, I'll come back. And she said, yeah, that's what they all say. And so I promised her I would come back.
Awesome.
Well, there's one more thing. She has whiteboards all around her room. And when she's teaching, so many whiteboard markers, they're prone to running out of ink very often. So when she's teaching, instead of being like, can someone get me a marker, she just chucks it across the room. And one time I was teaching, and then it ran out of ink, and then I chucked it, and she was like, hey, you can't do that. You can only do that when you have a degree. And I promised her I'd come back and just chuck markers when I got my degree.
Great story, man. That's awesome. So I like how you stay connected, man. I like how you stay connected. That's awesome. Cool. So, what do you value the most about your UIL journey?
Experience is a pretty broad term, but the experience, not only, I guess if I had to choose, it'd be more the fun times and just like the connections I made, rather than the learning experience, because the learning experience really helped me, but it is still second to that, the connections and great times and memories that I had.
I feel you. Those are lifetime memories. That's awesome. Yeah. So this is an important question. Right. So I hope this video is out for decades and decades. If any young student, maybe a younger version of yourself, comes across this video, what advice would you like to give them?
100%. It's never too late with the right work, and sprinkle in some luck, but with the right work and the right coach and everything, it's not too late, because I started my junior year like halfway through that, and by the end of it I got 5th place at district. It wasn't a particularly high score. I think I scored a 224, but it was really impressive to just keep going up and up. And it's not too late, because it's really, really intimidating to see other people like be doing this since they were in 5th grade, and I was up against people that have been doing it since freshman year, since 5th grade, 8th grade, middle school, and I felt like I just didn't have the experience to compare. But if you can learn it all and fast, and it's just a practice. It's just not too late.
I love the point you're making. Get started. No, you're not too far away. Just get started. Look at your trajectory. Exactly. In a year and a half, you went from learning RPN to state champion. The number one in the state.
So, yeah.
What a trajectory you were on. What a trajectory. That's an amazing story. Get started, man. Get started. I love it. I love it. So, Robert, do you have any parting words or final thoughts as we conclude this interview?
I guess just UIL really does extend. It really does extend more than just the mathematics or the academics that you're doing there. It has the potential to build up a community, and yeah, it's really fun.
It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? It's a beautiful thing. You know, Robert, I do make it to the Valley every so often. And in fact, I think a month or two ago, I made it to the Valley. I had lunch with Oscar Santos.
Oh.
You know, so I might make it maybe in Thanksgiving or Christmas. If I do, man, maybe we could get together with Oscar and a couple other guys and have a little math luncheon.
Yeah, that'd be great. I might even introduce you to the other teammates in there. We got some really fun stories.
Yeah. Get Brandon Salinas in there. Get these other good friends of yours in there.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
a fun time.
Yes, that would be so awesome. So I remain so impressed with you, Robert. I know you're still on your path and your journey. You're starting this graduate research program, and I just want to wish you the best of luck, man. The best of luck.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You fare well. Okay? You fare well. Okay. Farewell.
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye, Robert.
Bye-bye.
Wow, what an enjoyable conversation. Robert Gomez, the 2018 Texas UIL State Champion in Calculator Applications Conference 6A, a proud PSJA North High School Raider. It was very enjoyable, and I really enjoyed the perspective he provided. Now, if you enjoy this material, I'm going to take a moment and ask you to please hit the subscription button and the notification bell. Also, please smash that like button and leave a comment below. I have many wonderful things in store for this channel. I really appreciate you guys. My name is Saul Cantu, and this is Texas Math Mundo.